one of those things that goes hand in hand with individuals with ADHD, and there are a few things we can do to help mitigate the effects, so let's dig in. So we've all been there before, that moment when you know you're not really being effective anymore, but you can't stop because there's maybe a time limit, you have a meeting in half an hour, so you have to get things done, or something is due by the end of the day, or maybe you're just even adding your own like arbitrary timeline to yourself to get something done. And so we sit there, and instead of backing up and saying, I'm gonna take a step away and release the overwhelm, we just tend to make it worse. That, I think, is definitely a piece that comes pretty aggressively with individuals with ADHD, and I've learned a few things that have helped me deal with it. Not that I'm perfect and not that I'm a therapist here, but here's my process when I start to get overwhelmed for the times that I remember to use it. So step number one, and this one takes some time, is cut yourself some slack. I know, it's hard, but cut yourself some slack. There is enough going on. There is enough going on that's probably not even your fault. And so beating yourself up, judging yourself for maybe not being as on the ball or ahead of things as you should, or maybe not doing something that you feel like you should have done an hour ago that now all of a sudden you're realizing is biting you in the butt a little. Look, spending time wallowing on that is not helping at this point. So take a deep breath. Relax, stop judging yourself, stop beating yourself up. All you're doing at that point is just wasting brain power. So breathe in, out, and cut yourself some slack. So once you've cut yourself some slack, what I want you to do is actually go take 5 to 15 minutes to go do something that is not your work or whatever it is that's creating overwhelm, which I know seems like it's going to make it worse. Now, if this is really, really making it worse, your brain is freaking out on you at this point, you can go ahead and move this step to the very end. That's fine before you actually start doing work. But if you can, going and actually clearing your head a little bit. For me, that's go play the violin or read or write or go for a quick walk. Those are the things that are going to help me kind of calm down enough so that I can actually use some logic and some like straight thinking to follow the next few steps here. The next thing is going to be to grab some pen and paper. I personally like to do this with actual pen and paper because when I'm overwhelmed, having some actual like tactile stimuli is really, really helpful for me. But whatever works for you. But create a list of all the things that is rattling around in your brain that you know you need to get done, and just list them out. Just all of them, personal, business, work, it doesn't really matter, just get them on the page. This helps because it gets it out of your brain so you don't have to dedicate as much brain power to going, oh my God, don't forget, right? So now you actually have a physical thing to look at and you've got it pulled out of your brain to free up a little bit of space there. Once you have your list, you're gonna rank them. What I want you to ask yourself, the number ones are going to be, which of these will be cataclysmically terrible if it doesn't happen? Like, which of these, if it doesn't happen, the world ends? Like, there's no coming back from this. It's a major issue. And those are your number ones. Now, I'm gonna tell you, in all likelihood, there's probably not much that's gonna be truly cataclysmically level, like terrible if it doesn't happen. So in all likelihood, you're probably not going to have any ones, and that's actually a good thing. Now, that said, if you do have a 1 or 2, then that's fine. What you're gonna do at that point is that's all you do. That is all you're gonna focus on. Those are the things. If you need to call people up or send emails or texts, make excuses for why things are not going to happen right now for everything else, if you need to move things off your calendar, if you need to call and ask for help, for someone to go and pick up the kids from school today because you need to get this thing done, then that's what you need to do. If you have something that is truly cataclysmically, like there is no coming back if this doesn't get done on time today, then you need to be able to focus on that. So free yourself up to focus on that. You're not going to pay attention to anything else on the list at this point. Everything else is here just to help you push it to tomorrow or the day after or the day after. Now, let's say you don't have any 1s. What you're going to do is you're going to rank all of the rest, and you only get 1 per line at this point. So you can have as many 1s as you think you need to out of this one, but you only get 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, etc. But you're gonna rank them by level of importance. Well, by level of importance and urgency. And by urgency, I mean external urgency. I mean not the, oh, I've applied this pressure to myself to get something done today because I've decided it has to be done today. I'm talking about, hey, I told someone else it was gonna be due, or if I don't get this turned in, then it's not gonna be allowed, or except like external urgency, because we're really good about, applying additional pressure to ourselves that isn't always maybe necessarily accurate. So once you've got your list of to-do ranked, 1, recognize you may not get everything done on here today, and that's okay. You've got it broken down by Goblin Tools or some other tool that is going to give you like step-by-step step on how to get it done so you can just follow instructions. Next up, you need to go to your calendar and you're going to clear your calendar. As much as you can, everything that's listed on there to get done needs to get moved. You need to free yourself up to just start focusing on this to-do list. Move things, if it's stuff that's already on the to-do list, maybe delete it. If you know if you're going to get to that aggressively, right? If you know you're going to knock it out, you can take it off the calendar, but move stuff over to tomorrow, to the next day, to the day after that, but move things out as you need to be able to free yourself up to work on this list of overwhelm. So this last one is kind of tied to our little step in between cut yourself some slack and build your to-do list. That's like our intermediary step there. But it's also really important to making sure you hopefully won't end up in the same place again tomorrow or the next day or the next day, whenever that happens to be. And that is, I want you to go to your calendar and start planning some time for you to take care of yourself. Now, that may look like you planning a little bit more time in the mornings to get your day started so that you have time to actually not get caught unawares like that. That might look like you taking some time in the evenings to go do something fun for yourself. But I want you to remember, we start to build ourselves into this frenzy. Usually it doesn't happen overnight. It happens from days and days and days of living on the edge of breakdown of some variety, living with too much cortisol, too much adrenaline in our system. And so we start to reach a point of stress that is no longer tenable to continue. We have all dealt with overwhelm at some point in time. We will continue dealing with overwhelm because that's the wonderful thing about our brains. They are brilliant, they are smart, they are fast moving, but sometimes they get moving a little bit faster than we need them to. Sometimes they put too much on our calendar because we have time blindness and we think that that project was going to take 3 minutes and it took 40. Sometimes we're going to end up overwhelmed. That's okay. That's part of life. That's part of being ADHD. So having tools in your tool belt for how to deal with it make all the difference in the world.